Hello, this is Pixie doing another video. I've got some spiders or something. There we go. You get like cobwebs and stuff, feels like that on my head. There's little spiders. So today, I think I talk about MGTOW. Main go your own way, and just like general thinking. And so I noticed I was basically this whole sexual marketplace stuff goes on all the time. There was somebody, younger woman, I didn't even bother to look at her. Which is probably the best thing to do, really. I mean, it's not. I haven't got a problem looking at her, but I think it would be playing into a game, so it's probably best not to. There was I think it was her and a friend, or something about my ponytail. It could even be the other thing is with people with mobile phones, other stuff. They do video calls and stuff. They might just sort of angle the phone over and look at you and do stuff. He said, "Oh, I don't mind. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I don't mind." She said, "There's a different opinion between her and another girl, probably me having a ponytail." Because the other thing is, people, if they got like males who've got pattern baldness, right, is they assume you're going to just shave off your hair and try to hide it, but you can't hide it. It's there. It is. It's just the way things go. I mean, there's not a lot I can do about that. I can try to use some stuff to try to help grow hair. It just make my actual hair that's grown healthier, but it won't have an impact on that. It's just like a marking. It's maybe it's projecting something subconsciously, so people have different feelings, and also men shouldn't really care so much. I mean, they should care enough to make some. It's not like I just don't wash my hair and stuff. But they're quite happy to be different and be themselves. If there's too many of the same, then what happens is that they get sort of graded in the group. Like, 5 friends went out and they all shaved their hair and they all dressed similar. Then, only a few of them are going to be sort of picked out as the more original men. And the others, probably be stuck on a shelf. But the thing is, somebody making a remark about my hair, either she's making an honest opinion, or she's testing me, or she's in response. It was an earshot. It wasn't like she was hiding it, or maybe she had an interest in me for some other reason. I think a lot of younger women don't mind dating older guys. Depending on what they get out of it, but it's probably short time sort of. It's not something serious. It's not something I'm looking for. Well, I don't mind attention from younger women. Maybe I just look different. It's different. And also your attitude is reflected. People can pick up on things about yourself. There was another two girls. I did notice on the way down to visit my parents, and I stopped, I parked up, and I think maybe one was looking over, I don't know, and I got out and I walked to my parents' house, and I could sense they weren't right behind me, but across the road, just hanging around, and I turned around quick, so I thought, I've left my phone or something in my car, and so I could notice, and then I just turned around and one of them was looking at me, so she sort of smiled and looked away, and then her friend pretended they were interested in a sales sign that was on the floor, and I didn't believe that. I think that was just like covering up whatever they were up to. And it could be because maybe culture's changed. I mean, there might be times when it's easier to if you're younger. I mean, these girls were way too young. Wasn't really in my book at all. I mean, the other ones were really like in teenagers looking at me or something. And I don't know who the hell was looking down the road on the phone. I mean, it's difficult to know because a lot of women try to act younger than they are. And they try to hold that out, and it's the same for men. They've been kind of like, if you're young and hip and and all these sorts of things. I guess it's trying to be, maybe they're trying to retain, let's say, a youthful components of their personality or something. They don't want to seem like old people. I'm yawning a lot, I'm like an old person. Which will also bring on some other stuff in a bit. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Or it could be that maybe they're looking for sugar daddies. Maybe women are starting to experiment outside the box because they like men to pay for things. And you know, the thing is, if somebody likes their attention, then there might be a way to, you know, if basically you could hang out with someone and you don't have to have any sort of physical intimacy particularly, apart from giving them a hug or something, and a kiss on the cheek, then, you know, it might be worth the risk for somebody like that. There's just some people look for these opportunities, ain't got much else going on, why not? And, you know, let's try it out, and do I get what I want out of this guy, and then to the next one, and so on. I don't know. I really don't know, because I try not to figure out what women think, because they're complicated and they're affected by trends. Sometimes they kind of work in groups, other times they're kind of counterproductive because they're against each other. You know, it's just kind of, it's difficult, and then sometimes they're counterproductive because they're all following a theme without stopping and just thinking it through. They're just feeling it. Like, I don't feel it's right. I feel you're wrong, so therefore you're wrong, and I'm going to look for any opportunities just to prove that you're wrong. And it's just running on that, what's in that heart space. You know, what's telling them something. But it should be some kind of testing. But then again, it could be that they need to be partnered with a guy. Maybe they bring different elements together. Like, she gives the intuition and makes the man think about things, and then because she cares about what he actually thinks, she would be willing to validate what he's saying and say, yeah, that's fine. I think you're right there, and that's just based on experience. But she's closed-minded to other males because she doesn't trust them. So, you know, maybe there's a deep-rooted thing. I don't know. I see these sort of to and fro conversations that go on. So bringing me on to something else I was thinking about I was thinking about Kevin Samuel, and there's some people that die younger, men die younger, and I'm thinking it's not, basically you might say, oh, that person's died young if he died like 56, he had a heart attack. But if he's been living a life where he's been sleeping only 3 hours a night, drinking Red Bull a lot, and working really hard, like a workaholic, his day is much longer than any of ours. It's not 8 hours. Is you know, basically one day to him is twice the productive of yours. So it's like an insect. It's very being busy all the time, and so there's that risk of burning yourself out. And you wouldn't know really, because until you hit certain points in your health indicators would you know. So maybe he had double the life of a lot of people in a short period of time. That's really it. I think there's probably a way you can get away with it, but you need to mix it up with rest time, and just because you can do something that other people can't normally do, yeah, it's not always good for you. It's like people that go do night shifts all the time. Night shifts are not that great at all. We know statistics about it just drains your brain. I mean, your brain wants to rest at night, and I understand that there's things that need to be done at night for organisations to function. But maybe it's better that kind of thing done in a short period of time. I sort of got in the amber. I think, well, I'm going a bit too quick. Should I just stop? I could have braked really hard, but then there's no point. Because it's not exactly wise to brake really hard. Because a bloke behind me might think, oh, I can get through the lights. Some lights are longer than others and so on. But however, you're going to get a pattern going through red lights. I'm going to end it as an amber state, and then it just quickly turns to red. So yeah, so it's kind of thinking of how can you maximise your life without there's other people like with Bruce Lee. I mean, there's obviously some conspiracy around that, and maybe he didn't get the support. But Chuck Norris says, look, he's pretty much he had an allergy, slight allergy to these painkillers he was having, and he was already suffering from some inflammation. So he took something to numb the pain. That just made it worse. That's all. And so he didn't wake up. And, I don't know if Kevin's saying, well, the thing is, he was with somebody who says they were a nurse. There was lots of rumours around. But you think, if it with a nurse, would they not have picked it up a bit sooner? He could have a sudden heart attack. Maybe he just wasn't feeling too well and he knew something. And so that's why he thought, well, I might as well shack up or with a nurse. Get his freaking with a nurse, because I think there's a benefit. It's no different than Henry VIII and something like that. Last person he married was somebody who could look after him. He had boils in his legs and things. So it's just don't know, but I think lifestyle's quite important. And there's also stuff like people say in the gym that, no pain, no gain, but actually pain could be literally just pain, an injury, and you might get some benefits from developing or chiseling your body out of it, but ultimately you might end up with a long-term injury. I've got a few injuries from things I've done, like some of the martial arts stuff. It's like, axe kick a bit of wood. What you're doing is you're taking your tendons and your bone and you're walloping a piece of wood with it. And then once you damage yourself, no one's going to fix that for you, because it's unfixable if you change something in there. So maybe there's things that I wish I didn't do that I did. Like, I didn't regret training against trees and stuff. But I think I probably injured my knee whacking it against a bloody tree and doing stuff. I guess I just wanted to see if I could take it to new limits, and I was also taking in things I watched on TV or things that was on YouTube. These ideas like these Thai guys, like to strengthen their legs. If you don't see the old Thai guys, they're probably absolutely wrecked. It's not Tai Chi. You won't get any sort of old Muay Thai fighters. Not that I'm aware of. I have to have a look. There might be something out there. But I think you have to make mistakes to find a better way. It's often what happens. What else is going on? I saw something, it's quite good actually. Today there was stuff to do with the Freemasons. And this chap had some like tumbler glasses that were worth loads of money. And he paid a crazy amount, so he must have been a Freemason himself. Because why would you pay $6,000 for some glassware, not knowing if they're worth $6,000? Because they might have been dated, they might be the real deal. How would you be sure of the value? They're worth about 16, so you made a bargain. But I've recently bought a Freemasonic Bible, and it's got some other pin in it as well, so it's some other stuff to it. I think it's 1941 or something. It's called the Eastern Star Freemasonic Bible. Something like that. So anyway, so it's just coming over from America. I think it's Pennsylvania or something. But it's an interesting time, history, and also I wanted a Bible to do with them because they won't be changing some of the because it's often say revisions or revisals of the original Bible or something, I don't want them to change the wording, because if there is mistakes in there or things, they might be in there for a reason. So looking into it might give me insight to something else. So at least I can sort of look, and because there's references like to Lord and so I might say God, Lord, Jehovah. It might have all sorts. It might be Yahweh in there, and you see these as different characters that align themselves as kind of like demigods, but avatars to God in some way. Like I'm the being here, so I got to be the representation of a god. That's all you need to know. That thing you believed in, the sun in the sky, I'm that. Because I can do stuff, and it happen to you if I want to. But you find out that what makes them a demi is that they have very much human feelings. They don't seem to have evolved emotionally. Emotionally, they can be quite petty, they can be cruel, they can be all sorts of things. And maybe what's enabled them to do that is their science. If your science and technology is magic to everyone else, and it's so high, and you're able to clone people and genetically alter them and stuff, you don't really have to care about them. It's kind of like you've got to get out of jail free cards. You think, well, if I cock up, it doesn't matter. If I can solve that. Therefore, I don't have to care. And maybe this was it's in society to a certain degree that people stop caring about certain things because they think it's somebody else's problem. The system's in place that can deal with it. Therefore, I don't need to engage with it. And that's why there's issues. So there's other issues with sort of long-standing. I don't know if it's the Egyptian stuff and the Jews, because maybe the Egyptians were some of the tribes or running the shop were black, which means they had Jewish slaves, or however it works. I think it's very multicultural, but I think there were shifts in power, definitely. And there was groups of people that have some issues. And the bigger issues, this is all conspiracy, I'm not saying anything, it's all factual or anything. There's a fear of an uprise from different tribes that will bring their own identity. Maybe they're not interested in capitalism. And I think that's a problem, because we are. We need that as a control system. And then you've got these people turning up, and they're also bringing out music and selling hope and things that we can't market. And so there's always complaints about things like rap music, hip hop and other things, and that the industry has to put certain standards in place that sort of demonise the whole thing. It's all about guns and shooting and gangsters and stuff. I think it was basically it's enabled negative negative elements and cultures to thrive more, because the fusion of the two together. It's when when criminals started dressing up in suits, and they started mixing in sort of with the not necessarily the high and mighty, but people with money, or casinos and other things. They realised that the rich had vices that they could tap into, and then if they can merge with that, you can have friends who are politicians and stuff like that, and there's always going to be a way to corrupt them. And it just keeps you in business and keeps your finger on the pulse. So these kind of tactics, nothing new, but I think it all ties into secret societies and, like I say, blood feuds that have been going on for centuries. It doesn't matter the race, really. It's a person that identifies with this kind of culture that has a issue with another culture. There's probably I know there's like Venetian, there's some type of Venice something, some old bloodlines. Basically they were like the Roman Empire that fell apart. They sort of hid, but they've been trying to get their revenge or influence. So we got the Catholic Church, and it was all about control and stuff like that. That's fine. Anyway, peace on off everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye.